Are you guys ready for Name That Chapter? Oh, yeah, that's right. We're going to get your writing project started in just 6 words with Name That Chapter today. Hey, I'm Heidi Ederman, Heidelin, and Francine is out again this week. She's traveling. So last week on the Believe Retreat, we were working on some ways to get started with your writing. And we learned that within the room that you're sitting in, there are all kinds of stories. So you could go on a little treasure hunt, find an object or two, pretend like it's show or tell, like in grade school, and start writing some ideas down. You got some stories. Today, we're going to be reaching into the stories of your life. And we're going to be identifying in just a few words. Remember, name that title to get started, because, again, it's not that you're going to run out of things to write about. It's just really overwhelming sometimes when you try and figure out which story to start with. So these are some great exercises for kind of bringing your story down a little bit and figuring out where you're going to start. So for Name That Chapter, if you don't have a piece of paper in front of you or a notebook, I suggest you get one, because this is going to be like a little workshop kind of live stream situation today. So get yourself a piece of paper. Oh, wait. Okay, that was refreshing. Thank you. What you're going to do is you're going to divide your life into 5 sections. So depending on how old you are, those sections may not be the same, but they also don't have to be the same length. Like, you don't have to, take your age and divide it by 5. Maybe it makes more sense. You want, baby through 18 to be your first chapter. And then maybe you had a really, really exciting period of time where just a whole bunch of things happened, and that happened in 4 years. So you want to make that your own chapter. So step 1, think about your life. And I want you to divide that into 5 sections and write the ages. So what ages were you in each of these sections, from age 1 to 18, 19 to 24. Okay. So if you've got that, now we're going to name that chapter. Think about your first chapter. You were born. That happened definitely in everybody's first chapter. You went to school. You maybe had some different activities that you did outside of school, had your favorite toys, this kind of thing. So when you think about chapter 1, and in 6 words or less, how would you summarize that time period? So for me, I named mine Complete Freedom to Be Me. We're going to come back to that, but first we're going to name all the chapters, okay? So your chapter 2, your age range that you went. So I went from age 10 to 18 for my chapter 2. And I went really short with this chapter name. Poor Me. That is this chapter. For me. So think about, for you, what you put down for that time period. 6 words or less. Name that title. What's a good summary for that period of time in your life? Okay, now we're going to go to your third section of your life. So your chapter 3. For me, this was 19 to 27. And this chapter, choose something, 6 words or less. I named this chapter The Victim. Okay? So now we're going to move on to your 4th section of your life. So when you think about the time period that you put down for the 4th section, how would you sum that up in 6 words or less? For me, I named my chapter 4. Oh, let's see. I was 28 to 36 is my chapter 4. And this one is called The Victory. Yes, my story is getting more exciting. We're getting to what I thought was like the really good parts. Okay, so now we're going to do your last one, the 5th chapter of your life. So the time period of where chapter 4 left off, and obviously to the present. So my name for this, kept this very short as well, The Revision. So write down what your summary for your 5th section of your life is, 6 words or less. All right. So when you look at this piece of paper right now, you've got 5 areas of your life. And I know you know a bunch about your life. You are the one that knows the most about it. So this is like, you are such an expert on what we're talking about right now. So what you've basically written down is 5 titles. These 5 titles could be 5 chapters. Ooh, but you know, that's really, really still a lot of information. These 5 things could very easily be 5 books. Oh, let me just break down how it could be even more than that. So now we're going to go all the way back to that first section. Okay? And in this first section, you might need a new piece of paper for this, for each of the 5 sections. So you can kind of brainstorm this out and scribble along while I'm kind of telling you the things that I put down in mine. You're going to write down the highlights of your life in that time period. So for me, my highlights that I wrote down in chapter 1, which could be book 1, we don't know yet. This is just brainstorming. This is called Complete Freedom to Be Me. Okay, so the highlights during this time of my life, I lived in a small farming community in Wisconsin. Oh, now again, when you're writing down your highlights, don't be writing big paragraphs. Try and keep it again to around the 6 words. Like the first one I had there, for example, maybe there's a shorter way to say it, but I needed to fit, lived in a small Wisconsin farming community. There we go. That's a little bit closer to 6 words than what I had it before. So try and keep it again to 6, because each one of these highlights is another story. So you're basically, again, just putting down a title for all of these different highlights that you had during that time period. So my second one is birthday noses. That's a really good story. I don't know, birthday noses. Don't know if you guys ever had them for birthdays before, but you should try them. Next one, skunks in the shed and in my bed. That's right. You heard that title right. See, like, before I started this exercise, I'm like, there is really nothing interesting about my life, but that's not true. Like, all kinds of interesting, weird stuff happened to me, and some of it might just be fun and entertaining, and other stuff might have a lot of impact if somebody else hears the situation and how I came through it. But all right, wait, there's more. There's other good stuff in here, like mice eating my doll's hair. I was an only child. Do you know who got blamed for cutting the doll's hair? Okay, sorry. Started to write a paragraph there. The point of this exercise is you're trying to keep it to 6 words or less as you're making your list in your highlights. Okay? So that's the highlights section. And I'm not going to stop at each time period and go through this. We only have 30 minutes. Although, if you do want to spend a longer period of time working on something like this with other people, then that is why we host portal parties. And so these portal parties are meant to help make it easier for you to accomplish some of your writing projects. It might be for your website copy, it might be for your social media, it might be for a book you're writing, it might be because you're joining our Believe Retreat anthology project and you're working on your chapter. It's a great way to get feedback from other creative people, and that way the feedback isn't just all in your own head, which I don't know about you guys, a lot of times just turns into loud screeching kind of feedback when it's just coming from me. And that keeps me stuck for a really long time. So what we're doing here is to help get you some clarity. Clarity is one of the best gifts that somebody has ever given me in a short conversation, and it happens all the time. But you've got to step out and ask for help. And the way that you do that is you can put Portal Party in the comments, or you can go to our website. It's scrolling there on the bottom, and you can email us, request your dates that are going to work for you. Francine confirms what works for her, and boom, you're booked. And we've got a calendar that you can subscribe to on the website as well. So if you want to attend a portal party and just help out, if you want to be the one giving constructive criticism, feedback on writing, then you'll be able to know when they're popping up, because they're happening all the time. Okay, so hopefully while I was rambling about all of that, you've made a couple more notes in some of your other chapters or 5 sections for this exercise. So now you're going to make another list under this chapter. And this is formidable aspects. So what things that happened really shaped or made you feel like it shaped who you are? So just to give you some examples from my first chapter, baptized and weekly church, lots of time with all four grandparents. My grandparents and my parents were all married. um, 3 and sometimes only 4 TV channels. So again, I'm keeping all of these to 6 or less words. All of these could be their own titles. And, if I look at this list that I have here on each side, so let me start with my highlights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have 14 highlights that all could be their own individual story. And formative, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Another 14 over there. That is a lot of writing. So I love this particular exercise for trying to figure out what gifts of knowledge have I picked up along the way in my life. And so you can take your lists and go a little bit further, because I know some of you out there still might be saying, like, who is going to care about my stories? And I think a lot of people have this imposter syndrome and think that the stuff that they did really doesn't matter. And for me, it took some people coming up to me and saying, like, face to face, hey, I've seen some of the things that you put up on social media. I've been watching it. That last story, man, it really hit home. It really meant it. It felt like you were really talking to me today. I was really dealing with that today. So sometimes you don't always get that feedback right away. But as you tell these stories, they can have more impact. And so I really do like to share what I learned along the way in hopes that other people maybe didn't have to go through the hard parts of that like I did. So something that you can write down about these sections is, what did you learn about yourself, others, life, the world, or what strengths did you grow as a result of the experiences in that time period of your life? And is there anything else in there that could be gifts for the people that you're helping today with your projects? If you're, I work with musicians, so if you're trying to get more fans, you know, how can you use some of your stories to connect more deeply with your fans? I know a lot of songs sometimes come from past experiences, and you're already kind of tapping into that energy as you're writing a song. But how can you now take it as you're speaking to your audience through social media? And the same goes for authors or business owners, really. People are invested in you and your skills and abilities and how you show up for them in the spot that you show up. So take some time now that you have this list, and as you're looking through these stories, pick a few and figure out what your gifts are. What did you learn in these situations? All right. So I want to talk a little bit more about what the Believe Retreat, what the Believe Anthology project is all about. So we realize that sometimes it's not just the writing of the story that can make it hard to start, but it's everything that comes after. I've spent a little bit of time in this episode, touching on talking about connecting with your audience and social media. And that's some of the things that we're going to help you try and figure out. How do you connect with your audience? And we're going to do it together. Sometimes that you want to do some videos, but it's just really uncomfortable, or you don't know if your camera is working right. You need somebody just to troubleshoot with and stuff like that. So that's part of what you're getting with the Believe Retreat. I keep saying Believe Retreat Anthology. Just in case you're confused, this is the Believe Retreat. It happens once a week for 30 minutes. We slow down so that we can be more creative and speed up, okay? The Believe Anthology is our year-long project, and actually it's really even more than that. Some of the people that have already joined on as early members, they've gotten to, well, first of all, have not had to rush through anything. There's been plenty of time to complete chapters. I have been working on this since the beginning of it, and I'm still tweaking my chapter, maybe being a little perfectionist about it. But it's been good to be able to give it some breathing room. It's kind of like how I like to write my songs as well. As I used to have band practice every week in the basement. And so that's how songs evolved, because every single week it was like somebody adding, oh, guys, check this part out. I got this, until like the song was pretty much together and done. And then you go out and you play it live a bunch of times, and then you figure out a bunch of other stuff that didn't work. And then after a while, then you go to the studio and then we record it. And it's just evolved. I like to call it like my little song baby, because, it starts out as this little, like a little fragile idea, right? Like, it's like, hey guys, I got something new to show you. And you're like, oh, I hope they like it. So it's like little fragile idea, right? And then everybody starts to like get in on it, and the idea grows and grows, and you start to see it mature. And then you see how it starts to affect other people. And then it all just comes together in this magical, like, masterpiece when you get it recorded. It's like, oh. And then the song is still evolving after that. But that's kind of what it's been like so far with the Believe Anthology project. For those people that have gotten on early, there's been time to breathe with the project, think about what you wanted to write about, do a couple portal parties about it. Some of the people that are involved with us are writing other books and doing other projects. So, if you're thinking about, well, I really don't know if I have time for this, this is one of those collaborations where we're not spending hours and hours and hours working on something together. It's just a little bit here, a little bit there. We have a couple little suggestions for how you can keep moving it along, where it's just like, take 5-10 minutes a day. Maybe you're just going to take this whole week just to kind of put the ideas in the simmer pot. Or maybe you're going to spend an hour, you're going to do a portal party, and you're going to get a bunch of stuff that you've been stuck on out of the way. And then when it comes to all of the second guessing for promoting your book, and how does the publishing work, and how does that whole end work, and how are you going to become a best-selling author, and all of the things, we're going to learn about that as the process continues. So signing up now is best bet, because we're still at the lowest price for this. As soon as we move into the section where we're bringing in some other experts to start helping us with the social media and the publishing, the price for the collaboration is going to go up. So It's been scrolling on the bottom of the screen the whole time. Our website, at the very top, you can learn more about the collaboration project. Right below there, you can learn more about the portal parties and the calendar. So I hope you guys check it out, because we're figuring out how to make some of these big, complicated projects feel a lot easier. And so you can be in the flow. So I really, really hope that you enjoyed the name that chapter exercise that we did today. I would love to hear what some of your chapter names are. So feel free to email us, contact us through the website, tell us some of your chapter names. Let's do a portal party brainstorming session around some of the stuff that you wrote down. And if you really, really love this kind of idea, and you want to take this even a step further, I use this exercise with my positive intelligence, which is an emotional intelligence training, because it's like practicing an instrument, or it's like writing to increase your skill. It takes a little bit of practice and consistency every day to build up the mental muscle to keep showing up every day, to keep the negative judgments, the imposter syndrome, the perfectionism, all of these things, the hustle, all of these things that keep coming up, that keep bringing us into burnout. If you're tired of ending up in burnout all the time, you can just drop off the last slash part. Just go to heidslandcoaching.com and just book a 15-minute call with me. And I would be happy to tell you more about how all of that works. So next week, we're going to have Francine back with us. I'm totally excited to hear how her trip went. And don't be afraid to book a portal party. Ask for some help. Let's have some fun together. Let's create some stuff. So if you can conceive it, you can believe it, and you can achieve it. So from the head to the heart to the hands, yes, you can. See you next week, y'all.